So there is nothing like thumbing through a good book, and that's what we're having a chance to do this morning. We are back down in Trenton, Georgia, Dade County. That's become a bit like a second home for us here on 3+U, and we are inside McBride's Bookstore talking with Coy Williams, Drew Cruiser. Coy, by the way, we may switch names with him because he's got a local following in Chattanooga. He goes by Bubba.
Bubba Q.
Bubba Q. He's a comedian, and that'll probably come out in our conversation. Good to see y'all.
Good to see you. Thank you.
So we came walking in, and I told you, Coy, that this is like a place where you come to just know that you're going to be filled with knowledge. You pack a punch in this bookstore.
We try to.
One of the things I have enjoyed so in our conversations is you and I have been standing up, and it's been, have you read this one? Yes. Have you read this one? You love talking about the books that you sell.
I do. I love books. I've always liked books since I was a little kid. I have thousands of books in my own personal library besides what I have here.
So, Drew, you were sharing with me, there's a very sentimental story behind McBride's Bookstore, because you carry on the mission of somebody you love very much.
That's right. Our sister Ginger, she was a cancer nurse at Memorial. She bought the store 3 years ago. She saw that the store was going to close following COVID and things like that. She bought the store and saved it, but unfortunately she passed away last year in a terrible car accident in Eider. And so we are carrying on her mission of having this store here and having it for the community.
I haven't told you this, but it's a little bit ironic. When you were sharing with me the story of how, or Sharon, your mom was sharing with me how this came to be, as I understand it, that Ginger was at the eye doctor or at the place next door and just wandered over, kind of saw the books, and one thing led to another, and that's how she purchased the store. As we came in today, there was a lady out thumbing through the books who had been at the eye doctor and was wandering her way over here. It's a good draw.
Yeah, we get a lot of people from there.
So this is a community, Trenton is for sure.
It
and
is.
Every time we come, Coy, people, the owners of the businesses we talk to, are very quick to give thanks to the support that they find in the community. Y'all bring that full circle because you give back to the community.
Yeah, and the community is very strong here. There are a lot of people that read in the community here, and we do a lot of things with the community, the local Chamber of Commerce and stuff like that. But I feel like they give to us and we give back to them. I think it's a give and take. I really do. We've done the homecoming parade. We did the Veterans Day parade. We'll do the Christmas parade. We gave away thousands of pieces of candy at the trunk or treat on the square. And we give books to the local senior citizen center, and we give books to the jail.
One of the things I have enjoyed talking with you about, Drew, is, first of all, the layout. This is a fairly small space. Each area of it kind of has its own theme, so it's very easy to shop here.
That's right. We did a great job moving what's important to up front for our community, and that's the classics, banned books, and then local authors, as well as what we call new and exciting or newly arrived fiction and nonfiction. And then we have the best children's section I've seen in a while. So we're sitting here.
We're sitting in the children's section, and actually the local authors you mentioned, they often will come in and do book signings. That's where this takes place.
Yes, ma'am. We have a book signing this Saturday with a guy named Junior Brown. He is from Alabama. He writes books about his father, his father's life. He's writing stories about his father's life. He's been here once before and signed a book, but now he's got a new book out.
You know, I'm a book reader. I go through periods in my life where I'm reading just voraciously, and then I'll hit a dry spell. But I'm not a Kindle person. I want the book in my hand.
Yes.
And I'm the one who turns the page down when I know I shouldn't, but that's what I do to mark my place. So you have a lot of people who are coming in finding the nostalgia of the very edition that they read in the 8th grade.
Yes, and we find a lot of parents passing that down to their kids, like Babysitters Club. Or like Hardy Boys and stuff like that. People want their kids to read stuff that they read when they were kids. And a lot of them do want this cover because that's the one I read when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know.
So we were talking earlier, and he asked me a question, which was, what's your favorite book? And I told you I think that's a very unfair question.
It is an unfair question.
It depends on the mood you're in, and I began to rattle off quite a few. I want you to tell me what your favorite book of late has been.
Lately, it's been Demon Copperhead. That's the best thing I've read in the last 20 years by Barbara Kingsolver. It's a retelling of David Copperfield if he had been born in Virginia. And it's brilliant. I thought it was just beautiful. Like, if you go back in time, though, I loved The Time Traveler's Wife, The World According to Garp. There's so many that I think you fall in love with certain books.
Right.
So that's why it is a trick question. It's hard to say that because
Right.
you fall in love with those characters, those places, and those events.
Well, and I think that sometimes it's kind of like a smell. You know how that can bring you back to a place? So a book or a song on the radio, it represents a period of your life, and sometimes that's why.
That's a
I think
that's a
it
good
touches
point.
you too. But I think it's interesting because the Demon Copperfield, Barbara Kingsolver wrote a book called The Poisonwood Bible that I read 20-something years ago, and I fell in love with her. So you can pick up a good book, and next thing you know, it's going to take you on a journey of many more.
There are so many authors out there. I think that sometimes we overlook stuff because we don't think that we're going to like it.
Yeah.
And then when we discover that author, we're just blown away by it. We're like, oh, I've passed this up so many years without reading it
Right.
because I was afraid to read this author.
I got to ask you something, Drew, because,
Yes.
we learn a little bit about people before we sit down in front of the camera and talk. So, Coy is born and raised 1972. Y'all came to Trenton, the big city, as you were saying. You, though, were in the military.
Yes.
Lived all over. So being here now with this sense of community in Trenton, do you just soak it all up?
I do. I love it. Of course, being in the military, you have that sense of camaraderie, community. People have each other's back, and I feel that way here in Trenton.
Yeah.
And so it's wonderful. It's a community.
Do people ever call you and say, hey, look, I'm looking for a certain book. Any chance you have it?
All the time. All the time. That is like, especially like we have a lot of book clubs around in the different areas in Trenton. People will always come calling for a book. If I do not have it, we offer to order it for them. We can usually get it. We have tons of different wholesalers. We can usually get it for them. And that'll save them from having to drive looking for it. A lot of times we will have it. I try to keep up with what the school is reading and what the book clubs are reading.
And the condition of your books is so great. And Bill, who's with us today, as he was wandering through, he goes, oh, wait, I'm noticing something. In so many sections, you have the books horizontal, so it's easier to read the title. You're not doing one of these
Yeah.
to try to crane your neck. If people are cleaning out their closets, maybe they're thinking of making a book donation. Do you accept those?
Oh, yes, we do. Because you never know what you're going to get. A couple of months ago, there were some people that were moving out of Dade County on top of the mountain, and they gave us 5 boxes that were sealed, completely sealed. I opened them up, and there was a set of 24 books of Shakespeare from 1849. And they were in perfect shape. They were red, little red hardbacks. They were gorgeous.
Do you have them still?
No, they sold pretty quick.
Wow.
They sold pretty quick, but it's like you don't never know what you're going to get because I would never have expected that opening a box.
Well, I didn't know what I was going to get when we came walking in your building, and I think what I got was 2 new friends.
Well, yes,
So,
I'm so glad that you
thank
came
you.
in.
I know y'all got kind of big plans for Black Friday. You're going to have maybe like books for $1 or something?
Books for $1 outside. We're going to have our little tent set up, and we'll have several tables out there. And you never know, we might have some refreshments. It just depends on what happens before now and then.
Well, you'll find a good laugh, definitely a good book. And thank you for the hospitality this morning.
You're most welcome. You're welcome to come visit us anytime you
I
want
think
to.
I'll just linger over good old Jane Eyre. It's been a long time since I read it. Here's where you'll find them. It's McBride Bookstore. There's their address on your screen. Facebook, are y'all on Facebook?
Yes, we are, McBride's Bookstore.
Okay, great to see you.
I'm C-Mark. I'm John Moore. You know us.
You know where to find us.
For 35 years, downtown Chattanooga.
We've raised our family here in Chattanooga and North Georgia.
And unlike those out-of-state billboard lawyers, we don't charge you 40% for your car wreck.
We just didn't throw up billboards. We've put down roots.
Is bigger really better? We become a number and not a name?
And is it personal if you never meet with your attorney?
If you're hurt, call us at 265-HURT.
That's 265-4878. We've been here for decades and we're your local law firm.